Alright guys, okay, so for today's contents we are going to be talking about our topic is delivery service bailing your food business, right? And we want to talk about, do you have to rely on the delivery business applications or third-party services, and how to come over it. And so to come over it, we will talk about focus on the trade area, not the market area. And we're going to go through about what is the market area as well as what is the trade area. All right, with that, let's get into the contents for today. So in today's topic, I'm going to share you 5 topics that we will be talking about. So the first one is, do you understand your marketing strategy and cost, right? And the second one is, are you serving your community well? And the third one is, focus on trade area, not market area, and factors that influence trade area. And the last one is setting up local delivery system. All right, so let's get into the first point. Do you understand your market strategy and cost? So basically the first step is to slow down your brain drain, which means like you don't have to think about too much. All right, so understand and focus on your community. In a small or mid-sized food business, all you need to focus is to serve well your community within 2 to 3 mile radius of your business location or area. So what we are trying to share here is that, say for example, now you use the third-party services, right? So what happens when you use a third-party service is that they try to market you in a broader kind of network. So that means that, let's say if you're using third-party platform, they tend to market your business which is beyond like a 5 or 10 miles sometime, or say most of the time. So but not necessarily people want to buy from that far distance. The reason is because the preparation time is short, but the delivery time and the drivers to deliver that long, it's kind of always long and delaying the services to deliver, right? So for that reason, you don't want to focus on, you know, the longer radius, but then you also just want to focus on stay narrow and try to serve as much as within 2 to 3 miles of radius of your business. And so focus on a way to drive more connectivity with more people in your community, right? That then helps maximize the likelihood of some of these plans to bring successful. So when you try to focus more on your community, which is between 2 to 3 miles radius, your strategy is going to be more effective. So let's say there is a lot of ad companies or ad agency that approach you for your social media marketing or ads marketing, Facebook marketing, Google search marketing, and all those stuff. See, sometimes I've been in these ad agency for kind of like about 4 to 5 years, and I have understood that as a restaurant, you probably do not need all those marketing campaign, because I mean, unless you are a franchise business, which means that your business is spread all across the nation or all across the state, so which means that you have more than one location, right? In those circumstances or in those scenario, you probably may want to use those kind of a third-party agency or delivery service to just market your brand. But if you are a small business owner or a mid-sized business owner, but you just have only 1 or 2 locations within this small town or the city, then what you need to do is focus on your community, focus on the people within your neighborhood, and they are the only one at the end, they are the one who is going to be more attractive towards your business and the service that you provide or the product that you sell. So research shows that word of mouth advertising is the most powerful customer persuasion tool. So what you want to do, instead of having those kind of digital advertisement or magazine or there's flyers and all, you probably might want to just make sure that your customer can interact with you. So how do your customer interact with you? is by talking to you every now and then, right? Not necessarily they have to come to your store. It could be over email, it could be over the social media platform itself if you have a Facebook group and all those things, right? And over the phone as well. So most people trust personal recommendations than advertisements. So what you're trying to do is support your community as much as you can so that you get a lot of recommendation. See, if people would just recommend somebody who's living in a different city or different town or different state or say beyond 10 miles, would that be any worth of you? At the end, you gotta figure out your return on investment, right? So the ROI is within 2 to 3 miles. That's what I actually want to share with you. So focus on your community. Understand what's your marketing strategy. If your marketing strategy is beyond 2 to 3 miles, that's a burnout. That's not going to be effective for your business. So what you want to do is bring in some more money, and the way to focus on is to strategize your marketing and use the cost in efficient way that you are able to serve to the people who you want to target within the small community. All right, so let's go to the next point, and that will be, are you serving your community well enough, right? So recognize that it is not just about your team and your business. You probably may have a very good team, very good chef, right? Or you probably may have a very good, wonderful business, right? You have a good ambience, indoor, outdoor, whatever, right? But at the end, that is about you or your business personality, right? But then you have to understand that you're part of a broader community, right? Believe in yourself and your community. At the end, you gotta believe your community is the only one that who is gonna be helping you in your business to grow or to lose your business, right? So most of the business in a small sectors, or let's say in a small town or in the local neighborhood, if that business is going down, then the only way you can come up with the issues is that they are not serving the community well, which means that they are not providing the sufficient requirements by the people living in that neighborhood. So if it's closing down, if it's a gas station or grocery stores and a small store or food business, whatever it is, it's just because that you do not know who your customer is, and also you're not providing what you're supposed to based on their requirements. So if you don't understand basically, right, why you just has established, that's the reason why it says your team may be good, your business may be good, but if you do not understand your community well, the people who's going to be buying from you and the people who you have to sell it to, if you don't understand the bridge between these two, then the problem is that your business is going to shut down. So that's a very risk. So that is the reason I have come up with this solution, because whenever I pass through a lot of streets and all those places, I see like many business, very good business, have to shut down. The reason is because if you looked at their Google ratings, customer service, if you looked at their products and services, the quality is not there. People talks about your business, and the only way to come over those problems is to serve your community. You got to understand whether you're serving your community well or not, right? So a strong and engaged community will lead to improved products, learning, innovations, as well as your company business growth. So at the end, who is your buyer, right? You may have a very good quality product, but at the end, if you don't have the buyer, then who cares, right? The people, what you have to understand is that, in my understanding, in any businesses, right, probably you may not be perfect, right? You may not be right all the time, but at the end, are you delivering? Are you getting it done? If you're getting things done, if you're delivering what you have promised to serve, people will stay with you. With that, they will always recommend you, give you suggestions, give you feedback on what you can implement, because that's what they wanted, right? So you gotta understand, they're not asking you for the price, they're not asking for this and that, but they just want to share you about their convenience and their kind of a better way to improvise the system, because what they want is convenience. So if you can focus on those feedback, then probably chances are that you will stay in the business for a longer period of time. So as we mentioned here, when you are engaging with your community, you will improve your product, which is the quality of your product. And you will also learn by feedback and suggestions. You will also know how to innovate, because at the end, why do you want to innovate? You don't want to innovate for something nobody's going to use it, right? So you want to innovate for something who demands that. At the end, why does, you know, televisions, iPhone, or cars has been developing, innovating a lot, because those are the calls from the customer demands, right? So when they meet it, they get the demand and they get a good sales. At the end, the growth of the business, right? So building community should be part of your marketing strategy. So you gotta focus. Now this is totally very different from having an e-commerce, right? So we are not talking about the e-commerce business. The marketing strategy model is very different with the e-commerce, or people, or a business that has more than 5, 10, or more than one location, basically. So now what we are trying to focus is here, let's say if you have one location or a small locations, how you're going to be focusing on your business marketing strategy, right? So the first thing is, these are 10 points. There's a lot of points, so as always you can do your own research, but I'm just going to coming up to make it sure that I can show you this content in a brief way. So the first thing is that community helps connecting to the community, to the people, right? When you have a good community, everybody interact with each other, so that means that they build a good network for you. And the second one is community raise social awareness. That basically means that you're going to cut costs, a lot of things on your marketing cost. So which means if you are talking to people the very right way, then they will help you out to communicate. It'll just kind of autopilot system, right? And the third one is community help improve your business. The fourth is it's cost effective yet impactful. That's what it meant. Like, you know, you may be having a good testimonials on your ad campaign, social medias, and all those things, but then when somebody talk face to face, word of mouth, it's more effective than all those virtual contents, right? So it helps to improve your customer service at the same time, and then it allows you to earn loyalty and trust, which is about, we have in the previous video, how to build a loyalty customer, right? And then the next one is increase the rate of returning customers, correct? And it gives you a brand personality because you are unique. It's an opportunity to become a role model in your industry itself, right? And it gives you a chance to get to know your target market a lot better. See? So when you serve your community, your whole marketing strategy is different. And what you got out of those, these are the 10 points, the key points that you will benefit from marketing your community in such a way that, you know, you are heading toward the best service, the best quality, at the end serving you the best growth for the company, right? So let's go to the next point. So focus on the trade area, not the market area. So what is market area? All right, market area is a geographic zone containing the people who are likely to purchase firms, goods, or services. And what is the trade area? Trade area defines where customers live and how far they are likely to travel to a particular business or business district. So just a kind of a quick example here. Let's say you are an e-commerce business, or you are a network business, or you have a franchise business, which is more than like in multiple locations, right? And those kind of business model, you may want to focus on your market area, which is very wide, right? Here, let's say in a little city, you have this big market area, but this could be about 30 to 40 miles radius, right? So this is the market area. So when you do a social media marketing, most of the time when you do a Google ads, you do an Instagram, Facebook ads, most of the time you are covering too much. That means that you show it, people just heard about it, but at the end you just don't want to be loud and be, you know, intimidating everybody. But at the same time, what you want to do is that you want to monetize it. Low investment, high profit, remember it, right? So when you do this kind of marketing, your marketing budget is going to be very expensive. It's going to be very high. So that is the reason, as a small business, as a one location business or a couple of location business, you don't want to focus on the marketing area unless you are operating a franchise business or multiple business chain business or an e-commerce business, right? So similar to that, we're going to go narrow it down to the trade area. So this is going to be the trade area. So in your trade area, so let's say this is the whole radius about 10 miles, right? This is a 10-mile radius. Now you have 5 miles, so this little area is your trade area. So which means if people have to order it, or you will have more frequent buyer within this 5 miles, you will have very less people within this 10 miles or beyond the 10 miles or beyond the 5 miles. So you want to understand what is your trade area and your market area. In the trade area, you will be able to generate more, revenue, and also you will be able to cut down on your marketing costs at the same time. So for example, here, let's say this is your market area, right? But in the small section, this is your trade area. So trade area is smaller because it's a very little community. It could be your neighbor within 1 or 2 miles, right? So, but here's the thing that you want to do. You do not establish your business in a desert or people where, like in a countryside where nobody lives, right? So you always focus on establishing your business in a more kind of a high density of people, right? So that's where you set your business. So that means that in that community, within that 2 miles, potentially there are about like a 30 to 40,000 or kind of a 50,000 people are there, which means they have a lot of purchasing power, right? You don't have to focus kind of a bigger area. So this is kind of a basic frame about understanding the market area and trade area. So if you understand this well, you know it next time when your agents call you for marketing, so media or advertising stuff, ask these 2 questions because they will come up with the market area. There was a time when I have started a restaurant and that I was asked, or I was offered that they're gonna be covering up to 120,000. I was so freaking excited. I thought that, okay, 150,000. How much do I have to pay? $500 for how many days? It was about like 3 days, right? Then they print out the flyer. What happened? We print out about close to 60,000 flyers. Can you believe only one guy came in, and he came to the store for with the little flyer, and he came to the store for free food. So you can now imagine. So you don't want to focus something like that. But that was a good lesson for me to learn, because I was thinking like, okay, it's a market area. I'm going to be covering up to 120,000 or say 100 plus thousand. So I was kind of like, in my mind, the bank was rolling, right? I mean, you understand what I'm trying to say. So I thought that I'm going to be making a lot of money. But what happened was, after the campaign, I think it took about like a week, and the following day, I got one guy out of, I think, 30 to 50,000 of flyers distribution, according to what they told me, right? I got only one person who comes to my restaurant for free food. Was it effective? No. Return of investment? Zero. Loss? Yes. Right, so next time onward, focus on your trade area, not your market area for your restaurant or food business. All right, so let's go to the next one. So what I want to share with you here is a factor that influence your trade area. All right, so number 1 would be the populations of your community. And what is the populations of a community, right? Generally, the larger your community population, the bigger your trade area is, and also proximity of other competitors or competing business district, right? Typically, there is a cutoff points where customers are drawn to competing centers instead of your community. Mix of business in your community. A critical mass of a business pulls customers from a further distance than more limited mix of business, right? Attractions, a destination's business such as a large discount department store, a community attraction such as a prominent employer can expand your trade area, drawing customers from a long distance. This is just a kind of a brief info, nothing much in details, but it is good to know, right? So the traffic pattern is that each region has a distinct traffic pattern strongly impacted by its network or the street and highways, as well as major landforms such as river, lakes, and mountains, right? So this is a kind of your trade area analysis. When you have a question, look into this slide anytime. This is anyway going to be in the YouTube channel. As long as it's not shut down, it's going to be here for a long time. Anytime you have questions about your trade area, your market area, come and refer and check and share to your friend as well who's operating a business, or if you have come across without you don't have the business, you can always share to your friends who has a business, right? Okay, and this is actually from the source economic-development.extension.wisc.edu. It's called a Rayleigh law, right? And so here's the last second section, setting up local delivery system. Now we already talked about it. So let's say you understand your marketing strategies, right? You understand that you have to serve your community. And the third thing, you understand what is your market area and your trade area, right? The last thing that you need to know is that, all right, whatever we talked about, it's a good information, but here, how do you start your own delivery system within your local community, right? So let's say there are, say in every city, you are not alone, right? There would be about 30 to 50 business that's established, and most of the time you will know half of them personally, correct? Because you guys been there for a long time. When I used to operate a restaurant business, we were about like 60 restaurants, the same almost, but we were in the food industry. I know with half of them personally within like 6 months or within a year span of time. So it was easy for me to communicate, call them, they know me personally, right? So that is the kind of a community within the entrepreneur itself, the business owner, you want to build it up, right? So how do you set it up, correct? That's a very good question. It's not a big thing actually. If the only thing what you have to do is partnership with other business owner, because if you try to fight alone the whole thing, it's going to be too much for you. But once you partner up with the other business owner, once you set it up, it's going to be for a lifetime, guys, right? Everything has to have a starting point, and the starting point is not going to be easy all the time. So but once you pass through that starting point, it's going to be much easier than doing alone. So food service is not about the technologies, remember it. It's not about the technology at all. It's not about the software at all, right? It's not about the applications too. The real value of food service delivery is created by building partnership with other business owner. That is what it is, correct? So you might want to be, you may be in competitions with your similar business product or services, but at the end, guys, you got to know that there are many other business who does the same food service, but that's not necessarily compete with you. Say for example, you have a sub business, but not necessarily that the pizza guy is going to be competing with you, or the bakery and the cookies guys is not going to be, ice cream guys is not going to be competing with you, or the Asian foods, the Japanese restaurant, the Chinese restaurant, the Thai, the Korean restaurants probably not going to be competing with you. So they are some other business owners who you can partner with. So that's what you will have to think about it. Not necessarily have to compete with everybody right now. The market is so kind of very much diversified, so you know it that you are not alone. You can always get a support. The only reason what I found in a business is that if you do not ask another business owner, if you do not ask for suggestions, if you do not ask for help or ideas, you will never get to know it. People are willing to help you out. Everybody wants to help each other, but the only problem is that we think about it, what will happen right now. That's a kind of a negative thought. In a business, you gotta ask for help. You gotta put yourself for other people at the same time that you are willing to help people, because that's how it works and that's how it grows and that's how the business is all about, right? So let's say for example, now you have to, in this content we're going to talk about a little kind of a highlight, a brief information about how can we create our own delivery driver instead of relying on the third party, right? So let's say you have one driver, right, and you want to pay the person $4,200 per month. So here is just my little calculation. This is not, if you want to use it, you can use it, but you can come up with based on where you're located. Not necessarily you are running in the same dollar, or not necessarily you are running with the same pay per hour based on your city, states, countries, right? So, but I'm just going to give you an approximate idea here how you can chart or come up with your own number. right? So let's say the person is working 8 hours a day, right? And then you have to ask the person for 6 days, 1 day off in a week. And so that means that the person works for 48 hours a week, and in total 192 hours per month, right? So with that calculation, the person is making about $21.87, or say $22 a month, right? So now you have to include, for let's say the salary is $4,200. So what does the salary include, right? It includes the tax plus cash tips. You have to let the driver take the cash tip anyway, right? So if you don't want to pay, you can negotiate on whatever it's in the system. You can keep that, but just have to negotiate with the driver. But then if somebody is paying them in cash, let them take 100%. That is what you have to. You have to take care of them. You cannot be greedy, right? Or else they will just leave, right? And so what does it include? So you're going to ask the driver to have his own vehicle, his own car, whatever, right? And then they have to pay the price for the vehicle maintenance, and they have to have insurance. You're not going to pay for them. It's just like how Domino's Pizza service ran, right? So keep your whatever the other tips that they paid online, or you can, if you would like to give it to the drivers, that's okay. But all the time, keep in mind that you cannot, or you don't want to take any penny out of the tips, because the tips is for the driver, not for you, right? So if you're doing this model, right? So what you need is, if you have to say charge customer $3 per delivery fees, right? The average delivery that required to meet this amount, 4,200, is 1,400 delivery in a month, right? So that's where you will be able to pay for 200 to the driver a month. And average delivery per day is 47 delivery per day. This is what you need. Now you can combine, let's say this is a partnership with two business. So it means that one of these business has to be able to be delivered 23 to 24 per day. So I believe that you should be able to deliver that, right? Now let's say if you have about 10 people who join with you, right? And then you have 4 delivery guys. Multiply that, right? So if your business can deliver more than 47 or 50, that means that you can partner with another 10 business, right? And then have about like 4 people delivery with a rotational shift. And because your radius is not that big, right, 2 to 3 months, you want to have the quality service, right? You want to maintain that kind of a relation with your community, your customer base, which is between 2 to 3 miles. So enough, this 4 driver is enough for about 6 to 10 stores. I'm telling you, it is enough. Sometime there's going to be a lot of talks about it, but in reality, this is the number. I have worked previously in Jimmy John's. I know it, right? I used to be a driver, so I know it. I used to be in a restaurant industry, used to have my own driver. I know it, right? And so I used to drive for Uber Eats as well, so I know it. So build business partner with other business in your area to team up with you. So team up with them, right? That's the best way. If you can do this yourself, easy. If you want to expand more, kind of have more frequency in your, or more availability time for your drivers, just ask them, right? So that's the best way. Try to partner with other people. Right, so what happened is that once you say build up the whole system by yourself, now how much are you paying? The royalty fees, marketing fees, 10% to the third party, correct? That's what it shows in your monthly statement, because I used to use the third party app as well, but then I'm like, come on man, I cannot rely on them, right? So once you develop this system within your community, you don't pay a marketing cost anymore. You don't pay the royalty fees anymore to anyone else. This is lifetime for free. The commissions that you pay, 30 to 35%, you are increasing that cash flow in your account now, right? So you are not paying anymore royalty fees. You are not paying anymore the commission that they charge you to be in the platform. so that they can market a brand. So this is the income that is coming into your account, getting into your account. So what are the other benefits that you get it from this system? The next one is you got a monthly recurring revenues, right? These are the recurring revenues, not anything else, but if you have the system in place, these are the recurring revenues. And as we have mentioned earlier, that your, where is it, right? Whenever you do your demographic here, it says generally the larger community populations, the bigger your trade area is. So as you're going to be serving to the larger community, and that's where your business is established or is located, you are going to be serving more than 30,000 customers. So now, do you want to invest for 200,000 people and pay the marketing cost for 200,000 people when 30,000 is the only buyer? You don't want to do that, right? So why don't you focus on 30,000 to 40,000 customers who are in your trade area, which means less marketing costs, more effective marketing costs, more effective marketing. The return on investment, it just double up. Right, so guys, I hope this is kind of helpful for you. And like I have always mentioned, if you'd like to learn more about business concept, ideas, or you want to share your feedback, comments, and all those things, please do feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. And also, if you'd like to know more about Virtual Kitchen, I do have a training course that I will provide the link in the description as well. It's a 150 course, but also it's a lifetime. So once you log into the site, you register yourself, it is going to be for free access for a lifetime. And now also I will be updating the modules, the contents like this every now and then, so which means you will get a lot of benefits. And if you'd like to know what is the bonus on the course, please log into sameair.com, which is my website, and also the link is in the descriptions. You will find out what are the bonus that I'm sharing with you guys for the early bird buyers or the people who attend the course. Alright then guys, with all this, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, you guys have a good day, take it easy,